Hello, political geeks. I'm your host for this podcast, Barry Schumer, coming to you on July 10th, 2026. Please, if you like what I'm talking about, please subscribe to the channel, hit like, and maybe send it to friends. Um, Today, I'm going to talk about a few issues. Some are current. Before I get started, I just want to show you my book again, Box Seats to the End, Will the People Save the Republic? It's a it's a great book highlighting the last 11 years of Donald Trump's political career, what's happened in the country during that time. But as we know, these problems have been going on in the United States for at least 50 years, and it's just been building to a head. And Donald Trump's the guy who's been in office while it's been building. Um, Today I'm going to start out with the current news about Plattner dropping out of the Senate race in Maine. Um, there were a lot of red flags for this guy many months ago that he had a lot of issues besides the Nazi tattoo. That was sort of a telling thing. Some of the women that accused him of inappropriate or abusive behavior. And then the final straw coming this past week when his ex-girlfriend accused him of raping her. And then the establishment Democrats said, you got to get out. So now the term is being used as he was Plattnered, just like Joe Biden was Plattnered a couple years ago. So we're going to face again a situation in Maine where Plattner received 148,000 votes, 72% to 19%. So he was clearly the choice of the population and the citizens of Maine. And here we go. It's going to be a hand-picked person. I don't know that there's going to be another vote. It's probably just going to be the Democratic Party nationally or in Maine that just hand selects a new person with no votes from the citizens. Very similar to Biden and how Kamala Harris just slid right into that position. Didn't get one vote from any citizen in the United States to become the Democratic nominee of the party. Interesting that I'm watching Greg Kelly last night on Newsmax, and he had a different take on the whole situation. Kelly said in the beginning of his presentation that he has no need for this guy Plattner. He thought he was a terrible candidate. Obviously disagrees completely with his far-left communist ideas. Greg Kelly's a huge supporter of President Trump. But he said in his newscast last night that he felt that Plattner got a raw deal. That he sort of analyzed the interview with the ex-girlfriend, and he felt that there were a lot of holes in her story. And, you know, what does a guy do like this a week before the deadline that would allow the Democratic Party to put another person in? And what does he do? I mean, how can he refute this other than saying, hey, that wasn't true? There's no judge that's involved. There's no trial. There's no way to disprove this woman. And he just thought it was odd. Why did she come out with this a week before this deadline? And he's not convinced that he raped the woman. Now, he says, look, it's possible. It's possible. But this political trick of having people come out right at certain times and destroy somebody's political career is very concerning to Greg Kelly. And I thought he made an interesting point. Even though he totally disagreed with this guy, I thought he was a horrible candidate, he felt he really got screwed. And the citizens, 148,000 citizens of Maine also got screwed. So we're going to see who the Dems handpick. This has become a new trend in politics, forcing somebody out and then letting the National Party go right around the citizens who voted for the person. So that's obviously a big current story, and we're going to see what happens. I mean, most people at this point think Susan Collins is probably going to win re-election, but we'll see. You never know. The other story I want to talk about today is I was surprised to see some of the people that are going to be running for president for the Democrats in 2028. And I did not know this, but 5 of these people happen to be Jewish. Now, you have to ask yourself, in the atmosphere of anti-Semitism, severe hatred for Jews in the United States, it's never been worse than the last couple of years. Can a Jewish person win the nomination for president in the Democratic Party? I'm not sure they can. But I did not know some of these people were Jewish. Pritzker, the governor of Illinois, is Jewish. Emanuel, I knew he was Jewish, the ex-chief of staff and mayor of Chicago, ex-chief of staff for Obama. Shapiro, I knew he was Jewish, the governor of Pennsylvania. Clearly, Kamala Harris made a big mistake not putting him in as the vice president. He would have won her Pennsylvania. Ossoff, I did not know was Jewish, the senator from Georgia. And then now there is new word that it's possible that Bernie Sanders might run again. Bernie Sanders would be 87 years old. So, you know, there's been a big thing about the age of Biden and Trump, and we need younger people. So I'm not sure he can really do it based on his age, although he looks fantastic for a person who's 85 years old. And his mind is very clear. Bernie Sanders is a very good speaker. Pretty smart guy, just happens to be a communist. So I thought that was very interesting. And we'll see what happens. But hey, the midterms are less than 4 months away now. And it's going to be interesting. A lot of governor's races all over the country. For me here in Florida, DeSantis is term limited, so there's going to be a new governor here. New governor up in Michigan, where I'm from. And all over the country, there are House and Senate races that are going to be very important, very important. So it's going to really start heating up, especially after Labor Day, in the beginning of September. And then, like I said, Trump has this new idea of having a GOP convention, a midterm convention, first time ever, in Dallas, September 9th and 10th. So that'll be fun to watch. That'll be fun. Maybe in that convention he's going to announce that each American will be getting a $3,000 check coming in the next 3 weeks. That would be interesting. I'm going to leave you today. It's going to be a short podcast. I'm going to read to you the back of my book, give you a feel a little bit more of what my book's about. Again, out of the 8 books I've written, I think this is the best one I've ever written. And it says on the back of the book, our book discusses the future of our country in the context of the Trump presidencies. The important question is, will the people save our republic? Our issues are beyond the significant impact Donald J. Trump has had in our political arena. Trump will be gone in just over 3 years. Our problems that could bring down the USA will not be over. In fact, globalist Democrats and dictators around the world are simply waiting him out. We live in a dangerous world with too much hatred and 8 countries with nuclear weapons. Read how Trump overcame criminal charges, fought through judges who were more political advocates than arbiters of the law, and all of this occurred after a very questionable result of the 2020 election. What could go wrong with 100 million mail-in ballots? Many statisticians not only said that the 2020 results were improbable, but were impossible. Today's politicians are the most corrupt of all time. We clearly need term limits for Congress and the Senate. Read about Trump's first term, the 2020 election, January 6th, lawfare, 2 failed assassination attempts, and how our country has become infiltrated by Marxists who want to destroy America. Will the GOP win the midterms in 2026? Will Vance or Rubio become the next president in 2028? We cannot depend on politicians to save us. The citizens of this country will have to save themselves. Donald Trump will go down as a transformational figure in U.S. history. God bless our great country. So, I hope that piques your interest a little bit. I read the chapter titles, which are sort of interesting, last time on the podcast. And I want to just sort of end by talking for a few minutes about what's happened in the Iran war. Obviously, Iran broke the ceasefire. They shot at 3 ships and hit the ships, causing significant damage. Trump just said okay, and 2 nights of targeted airstrikes in Iran. I think they hit about 150 targets. He said, I guess they want the ceasefire to be over. You know, it's hard to say what's going to happen with this war. I personally, just as a layman, feel that he just needs to finish the job militarily, and he may do that, but he might be waiting for certain things over the next few months, because there is no negotiating with Iran. That's a joke, and Trump knows it. These people are the biggest liars. They have no intention of honoring any negotiation or signed deal, whether it's a memorandum or any kind of other agreement. They're game players, and Trump knows this. So, I mean, it seems like the only way to really ultimately deal with this is to just seek out the Iranian military, the RG Revolutionary Guards, and kill as many of them as you can. I mean, obviously they're hiding in caves, they're hiding somewhere. I heard an interesting theory recently from a retired general that what he thinks is going to happen, what Trump is planning, is that he's going to do this over a period of time, somewhere maybe 2 to 4 months. And during this time, behind the scenes that we don't hear about, the citizens of Iran are going to be armed. They're going to get them arms and weapons. And eventually, with the help of the Air Force strikes from the United States and possibly coming up with Israel starting again, the citizens may eventually end up taking back their country in a revolution. Who knows if that'll take 3 months or 6 months or a year, but that, I think, ultimately is the plan, although you won't hear about that much on the news. So we'll see. You got to trust Trump that he knows what he's doing. I believe he listens to his generals. And he's obviously trying to balance the Iran war with the midterm elections because he knows if this is continuing in October and November, that the Iran war could hurt the chances of the Republicans keeping the House or Senate. So, complicated stuff, and we'll know soon. We'll know soon. Trump just talked yesterday on Air Force One. The Secret Service told him to change planes, not to use the new plane from Qatar, and go back to the original Air Force One for some reason. I don't know if I guess it was a threat on Trump's life again from Iran. And I don't know if they felt it was something in the design of the Qatar plane that was suspect, or they just thought it was safer to go in the original plane. But something's up. I mean, Trump said in the interview, look, I'm the number one person on their hit list. They want me dead. I get it. And you better hope they don't get me, because they were on the plane at the time. Said, if I go down, you're going down with me. Classic Trump kind of humor. A little bit of dark humor there. Okay, political geeks, until next time, I'll see you.